Well, hello everybody. Bad timing, just taking a sip of water there. Welcome back to Galactic Wisdom. I am on tour. I am doing a contact tour of, well, the first part of this tour is 17 different states. And I'm hosting, in this part of the tour, I'm doing 43 contact events. I've already done California, Nevada, and Utah, and now I am in Arizona. And so I'm in, let's see, Sedona, Arizona. This evening, I'm going back just myself to Bradshaw Ranch, not part of the tour. And Bradshaw Ranch is like Skinwalker Ranch. It's a hot spot of alien and paranormal activity. So I'm going to tell you, before I continue with anything else, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my last visit to Bradshaw Ranch. Well, a few months ago, when I went to Bradshaw Ranch for the very first time, I videoed an orb, a blue orb that was there in front of me, floating in the air, and I talked to it, and it moved around, and then it flew past me. And yesterday, I went back to Bradshaw Ranch, and it's a fascinating experience going there. It is one of the creepiest places you could possibly imagine on this planet. It's a very hard place to get to. You can't really drive to it very easily unless you have a super strong high clearance four-wheel drive. So I have to hike in there because I can't get there in this vehicle that I'm in. So I hike into there. It's in a dark valley in a forest, and when I went there last night, the moon is not out when I arrive there, and so it is very dark, and there are abandoned, derelict buildings there, um, and it's like a little ghost town basically. And as I'm approaching this, as I'm walking down this unpaved, rocky uh, dirt track, I hear in the bushes something big, something big moving, stepping around, breaking branches. And well, my hope was that it would be Bigfoot or Sasquatch. And if it were indeed Bigfoot or Sasquatch, then I would walk towards them, hoping to make contact with them, hoping that they could see in my heart that I was peaceful and friendly, and that they wouldn't do like a Wookiee and tear out my limbs. But also in this area of the countryside, there are mountain lions and there are bears. So there is something big walking around close to me. Do I walk towards it or do I walk away from it? And me being a little bit stupid, perhaps a little bit adventurous and daring and willing to risk myself in order to determine spectacular realities, I walked towards it, and I've got it on the video camera as I'm walking towards it. And I'm pausing and listening, and it's moving around. It's clearly aware of me. And then I see in a clearing about 20 feet away, two legs going like this. It's like, oh my goodness, something is definitely there. On my night vision camera, I'm seeing it. And it wasn't until I got home and zoomed in on what it is I had videoed that I determined that it was the back legs of a quadruped, like a four-legged uh, being, a mammal, I'm assuming. Um, and I can't tell what it is, if it's a bear or a mountain lion, but my best guess, if I had to take a guess, a cow. I think that's what it was. So nothing particularly extraordinary, but certainly a little something to sort of elevate your heartbeat. Then when I got to Bradshaw Ranch, and I set up one or two cameras to record anything in the sky that might come over, and then I sit myself down in the chair, and there's something not far from me in the trees, and I don't know if it's the same thing. I don't know if it followed me or if it's something else. Well, if it was a cow, it clearly didn't. It wouldn't have followed me, I don't think, to the spot that I got to. Um, but it was a little. I'm not sure if not being nervous. That's not the right word. Not being nervous or scared, but being alert to a potential danger as I'm sitting there, and things could come at me from any direction. And it's very, very cold at this time of year, so I had my balaclava and I pulled over my balaclava over my head, and one or two hoods on top of that, and I can't hear a thing. And that's not um, a, the kind of situation I want to be in a potentially dangerous situation where I can't hear anything. And so I have to take all of these off and expose my head to super cold air just so that I can feel like I'm staying safe. Um, After I'd been there 30 minutes and I realized nothing was going to charge me, I decided I could probably put on a hood or two and keep a little bit warmer. But I was there for a couple of hours, and when I talked, there were responses uh, in the surroundings. There was at least one consciousness in those derelict buildings. There's no light sources or anything on there. No people moving in and out. There are bangs and knocks and creaks, which could be natural cooling of the building, going from the hot Arizona sun to the winter cold of the night. But there was something else. There was something. I kind of want to say alive, but maybe it wasn't. But it was conscious. There was something inside there that was moving and also seemed to be aware of me. When I would talk, it would respond. So, probably a paranormal investigator's dream. Um, and honestly, I'm kind of okay with it. If it was aliens, because aliens are thought to be in that area, that would be awesome. That wouldn't worry me in the slightest. People, that would worry me. Like living people, that would worry me because human beings are the most evil beings that I know of. Human spirits, that'd be cool. I mean, still maybe human, but without the ability to swing a punch at you or fire a gun, that's not bad. So, but it was a wonderful experience, and I'm going back there this evening. Um, let's see, there was something else that I experienced, but I'm not sure I should tell you about that yet. A little bit more investigation to go on before I tell you everything. But I'm having fun here. Last night I was investigating a friend who may or may not uh, be connected with Greys. So that was very interesting. Um, and yeah, more investigations this evening. If you would like to join me tomorrow evening here in Sedona, then I am hosting an event, a contact event at 7 p.m. at the Bell Rock Trailhead. So join me at the Bell Rock Trailhead. Um, I, I do charge a little bit for my events, but if you bring some cash to the event, then what I charge is probably minuscule in comparison to what you expect I should charge. So come along there with a little bit of cash at 7 p.m. at the Bell Rock Trailhead, and you can participate in my contact activity. And the following day, Saturday, I am going to be hosting a similar contact event at the Secret Mountain Trailhead. Just be careful when you pull off the road because there's a big drop down onto the sort of the parking area, which scraped up the bottom of my car yesterday. So just be careful. But that's what I'm doing. And after Sedona, in about a week, I'm heading down to Overgard, which is where Travis Walton lives, and where Travis Walton um, he experienced the whole fire in the sky being taken on board by beings to actually heal him after he accidentally got injured. That's sort of the favoured theory. Um, and so I'll be going to that forest, the Sitgreaves National Forest, in a few days um, to investigate that area. We won't be disturbing Travis because I think it might be on New Year's Eve or close to it. It's going to be around the Christmas period of time. But on Christmas Eve, no, it's not going to be Christmas Eve. It's probably the day before. But on Christmas Eve, I am going to be hosting an online Christmas party, and during that Christmas party, as well as singing Christmas carols, we're going to astrally project as a group and astrally communicate or attempt to with Jesus. Now, whether you're a religious person or not, whether you're a Christian or not, historically, there does seem to be, like, I think there was very likely, based on historical accounts and research, there was probably a guy who fit the name of Jesus, or probably it would have been Yehoshua back then. But I think that was a real person, probably, although I can't prove that. And we're going to attempt to communicate with him. So if you like the idea of participating in that online remote viewing on Christmas Eve as part of a Christmas party, then please join my online group, which you can find at www.patreon.com stroke or / alien contact. That's where you can find all of my activities. If you want to attend that Christmas party thing, then join tier 1 of my group. That'll get you in. Okay, so that's what's going on here. I'm excited for Avatar 3 or Avatar Fire and Ash. I think it's coming out tomorrow. I don't know that I'm going to be able to see it in much spectacle. Here in Sedona, I don't think they will have an IMAX or a 3D IMAX or anything big and spectacular like that. But that's something I'm looking forward to. Tall blue alien beings, what's not to like about that? In fact, I think I read somewhere that, actually I heard James Cameron talking about it. He based his Avatar movies somewhat on dreams that he may have had. I think I remember reading that his mother, in a dream or an nighttime experience, saw a tall blue alien who was talking environmental issues and stuff. Well, I talk to tall blue aliens that talk environmental issues, and they're called Arcturians. Could it be that the Avatar movies were inspired or even seeded um, by Arcturians, blue, environmentally conscious, wise, benevolent alien beings? I know 3 of them: Safki, Limitoid, and Helmiad. Who knows? Maybe one of my Arcturian friends is partly responsible for the existence of Avatar. But anyway, I like those movies. If you don't, that's fine. But I'm gonna go and see those soon. And of course, Steven Spielberg released his first trailer for his upcoming movie, Disclosure Day. Now, I love Steven Spielberg movies. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think he wrote it. I think I saw that somebody else wrote the screenplay, which in my mind brings it down a little bit. But it's still Steven Spielberg, and it looked fun. It looked like an interesting movie. But honestly, when I watched the trailer, one thing that I'm getting from it is it's not a depiction, at least not from the trailer, it's not a depiction of reality. There may be some real stuff that he's intertwining into the movie, but clearly 2 or 3 aspects of the trailer lead me to believe, lead me to think that no, that's not really, it's not going to end up being a very accurate depiction of reality. But I'm still going to enjoy watching that. Completely off topic while I'm talking about movies. I am also looking forward to another movie, and it is very off topic, but Elvis Presley, epic Elvis Presley in concert, is coming out February 20th in IMAX theaters, and then a week after on general release. Now, this is Baz Luhrmann, who made the Elvis biopic, which did phenomenally well, was an excellent piece of art, and he went and researched and digged deep down in some salt mines in Kansas, I think it was, found 60 hours of was it 60 reels of uh, unreleased Elvis in concert footage, and he has put that together in the form of what he calls a poem, a visual poem, rather than like a documentary. But anyway, I'm an Elvis fan, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I've seen little trailers for that, and that looks phenomenal. I'm looking forward to that actually more than the Disclosure Day. Anyway, that's what's going on with me. I'm going to have a little water here, cloudy water. Okay, so I talk in these podcasts about reality. I talk about uh, understanding reality and morality at alien levels, beyond human levels. And when I do this, I sometimes alienate people because I am literally uh, taking the intellectual arguments and the philosophical arguments uh, to alien levels, to interspecies, galactic, interstellar, transdimensional levels. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do today. And if you watch through my last 5 episodes, 5 podcasts, you will see that I've been working through reality on and off. And let's see, last week I was talking about how different beings, where they might have come from. Where did Arcturians come from? Where did Pleiadians, Ebons, Greys, where did they come from? That's what I did last week. And in summary, throughout the universe is an enormously diverse mix of physical and spiritual life forms, traveling both physically and spiritually through space, also through time, and also interdimensionally. So that's the reality of the universe we live in. Humanoid aliens, aliens with 2 legs, 2 arms, head, 2 eyes, etc. Humanoid aliens only exist within a few thousand light years of the solar system, the stellar system, the system of Sol, which is the name of our star or sun. Um, None of the other countless trillions of species. Uh, did I just disappear for a moment? It looked like I went blank for a moment. Sorry about that. None of the other species around the universe are humanoid. We don't see any humanoid beings when we go out there, unless when we're actually projecting out there, some alien beings from around here see what we're doing and they join in. That does happen sometimes. But the humanoid element of the aliens that are depicted in popular culture and in movies, and that many people see around them on this planet, that humanoid feature, that's a terrestrial feature. That's a feature that stems from their proximity to this planet. They contain terrestrial humanoid DNA, but that's not extraterrestrial. That's not coming from other places in the universe. It's not cut. It's yeah. I've said that. It is a terrestrial feature. That's that subject finished now. The next subject, and the title of today's show is the Matrix. So I'm going to talk about the Matrix now. Now, some people believe that we are living in a matrix or some kind of artificial simulation. Where does that word, the matrix, come from to describe us living in an artificial simulation? Well, a lot of people will suspect, I'm guessing, that the word matrix comes from the movie, Keanu Reeves, with Keanu Reeves in it, The Matrix, which is a phenomenally awesome movie. Um, and that was called The Matrix. And the whole story was that the reality of the planet as we experience it is not real. It's an artificial simulation. And our brains are basically being harvested, or the energy from our brains is being harvested by other entities, other consciousnesses, um, for their purposes, and we're basically like cows in a cow farm, a cow factory, cattle farm. And that's the concept behind the movie of the Matrix. And some people think that when we talk about us living in a matrix, that's where that comes from. But in fact, as a Doctor Who fan, I will know that it comes comes from a few decades before that. Well, it's going to have to be late 70s or early 80s, but when Tom Baker was the fourth Doctor in the TV show Doctor Who, um, he, when he visited Gallifrey in an episode of Doctor Who called The Deadly Assassin, which is my favourite Doctor Who episode of all time, there is a sinister villain there whose name I won't mention in case you want to watch this. Um, but he's all emaciated. He's like a skeleton with bits of flesh sort of hanging off of him. And it's a fantastic episode. The Doctor arrives in Gallifrey, and there is, well, I won't go into details of the storyline, but he has to investigate something within a computer network, a computer system, the planets, the Time Lord's computer system. So he plugs himself in, lies down, and his consciousness goes into what they call the Matrix. And in the Matrix, it's an artificial reality. It's a simulation, and he has to battle people in there, and it's actually, it's. I don't think the movie The Matrix could have been made without inspiration from that Doctor Who episode. It's an awesome 4-part Doctor Who episode. I recommend it for those of you that like that sort of thing. So that's what people think The Matrix is. Now, I guess in a more modern way of thinking of what The Matrix is, I'm guessing that a lot of people consider the idea of the Matrix to be this world, this universe that we see around us is artificial. It's an artificial construct created by some higher level intelligence beings. And when people think of that matrix, this artificial simulation, they think of it as being something that we're basically imprisoned in. It's against our will, we're put here, and it's not being maintained for good reasons. I think that's what a lot of people think of when they think of the matrix. Now, the way that people then, one of the consequences of us being in a matrix, I think a lot of people, when they look at the harshnesses of this world, the harshnesses of living in a human populated world, in human societies, those harshnesses are not real. We're being trapped in it. We're being kept in it by essentially dictatorial slavers. You might kind of say, and none of that is good. None of that is good if we're being held here against our will, captive in an artificial reality, not for our good, not for our benefit, but for the benefit of somebody else. That is what a lot of people think of when they think of the Matrix, when they talk about us living in a Matrix. Now, some people tell me that the reason they think they're in a matrix is because they look on social media, and on social media there are examples of what you might call glitches in the matrix, where people are videoing, say, a bird in flight, and the bird has frozen in flight. It's just stopped in the middle of the air, and people are walking around it like this with their cell phones, videoing it. Oh, there's an interesting light on my forehead. There you go. I've got an orb right in the middle of my forehead. Fantastic. Um, but I don't think things like that are real. I I've never seen anything that I would call a glitch in the Matrix. I think they are fake. They're made up. They're probably now you've got a lot of AI generated Matrix glitches. Some people um, consider aspects of reality glitches that they just don't understand. They haven't learned the science of these things to a high enough level to be able to explain why some things in reality are the way that they are. Um, so I don't think that there's any um, what I would say strong evidence. I mean, a lie, a fake video, that's evidence, but it's not strong evidence because it's not real. It's certainly not proof of a matrix. I don't see any evidence of there being a matrix, um, but I see why it might be popular. The idea that the reality we're living in is a is a some kind of a cage for us, kind of like the Truman Show, that amazing Jim Carrey movie, The Truman Show, where he's living in a dome, and everybody around him are all actors pretending to be his friends, um, and everything is done for like product placement, and there is a director who lives up in the moon, things like that. It's a excellent, a weird movie. It's funny. I'm talking a lot about TV shows and movies and actors and artists and directors today. I guess that's the way this particular podcast is going. Um, so a lot of people feel like the world it's not right. It's not right to be held down, subjugated, uh, held captive in the world that we're living in, where we have to pay our taxes and do what other people tell us to do. We should be free to soar like a bird and to really enjoy the positive aspects of our consciousnesses, of our lives. So a lot of people like to think of the Matrix as being uh, our world as being like a matrix. So essentially, it gives us somebody to blame for the situation we're in. This can't be it. It must be pretend in some way. It must be a construct. Somebody else must be pulling the strings. Well, somebody else is definitely pulling the strings in this world. Somebody else is definitely in charge in this world. Somebody else is definitely creating a world for us that we choose to live in. We choose to live in it by voting for certain people who keep us living in it. Um, that's all true, but that is within the reality that we perceive as being reality. I have delved as a space scientist deep into the fabric of this reality that we perceive around us. I've delved deep into the fabric of this universe, into its fundamental laws and components. And I have never seen any glitches. I've never seen any programming errors. I just see the this universe, no matter how deeply we delve into, uh, probe the nature, the fundamental elemental nature of this universe, the more we see that it's based on deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper realities that are part of this reality, that are part of our understanding of subatomic particles and natural forces. Um, Everything that we see around us is built on a reality and not on a computer code. Um, so that's what I see. So when people think we're living in a matrix, people can think and believe anything they want to, but I always come back to, well, if you're going to accept something as being true, it needs to be proved. That's intelligent, high level thinking. Don't accept something as being true if it's not been proved, because you can imagine anything then and just latch onto it as being a belief with no actual proof and almost no evidence at all. There's no intelligence in that. There's no valid intellectual reason in the physical universe or in paranormal universes or in the paranormal reality or in alien realities that point me to consider there being any real evidence of the reality we're living in being a matrix. That's not real. Um, it's not impossible. Like, it could be possible that we're stuck in an artificial reality, but not everything that's possible is real. It's possible that yesterday I was in Australia. That's a possibility, but I wasn't. It's possible that the Matrix is a real thing, that we're living in an artificial reality, but we're not. There is no evidence of that. There's no proof of that. And no matter how deeply we delve into the fabric of reality, that's not what we find. We don't find that this is artificial. So I'm sorry if your beliefs, if you believe in a matrix, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. I'm sorry. If you've got proof that we're living in a matrix, then feel free to send it to me, because I'm always open to learning new things. Now let's talk about manifestation. A lot of people believe that we create this reality by manifesting it into existence with our thoughts. Well, it's the same thing. I mean, what's the evidence for that? There's no evidence for that. Well, that's not quite true. I'm going to backpedal. There is some evidence for some level of manifestation, but the idea that our thoughts create, like, whole scale, this entire reality that we live in, no, that's not true. Some people think that we all, individual consciousnesses, create individual realities, and we're all living in different realities. Well, that's nonsensical. That's, again, no evidence for that. I'm interacting with your reality. Everybody I meet, we're all interacting with each other. And when we're together, we all see the same things. We can all have the same conversations. Our realities are the same. If you think somehow that you as an individual create in its entirety your reality completely, well, I don't see any evidence for that. I don't think it's real. And take a look at your reality. Is that the reality that you would create if you could? Are you just not trying hard enough? Like, if you seriously, if you believe that, then why don't you make your reality better? Try it now. Do it now. I'm gonna do it now. I want this glass bottle to turn into gold. If I believe hard enough, if I manifest hard enough, this is going to turn into gold. No, it doesn't work because you can't manifest things that are impossible. We don't create this reality. We can influence it with the power of our mind, and I'm going to come to that in a moment. But what we can't do with the power of our minds is influence it uh, in ways that are impossible. Like I suggested, I cannot manifest this glass bottle into gold. I can't use the magic words "new planet, please" to turn this into a new Earth-like world that is heavenly, utopian, where everybody's friendly and nice to each other. I can't do that. That's an impossibility. Some people will say anything is possible, everything's possible, nothing's impossible. Those are all intellectually, objectively wrong statements. And you can, when you start trying to do anything and everything, you will realize that is correct. So you can't manifest things that are impossible. But okay, what could be possible? What could be possible is that the sun that's shining through my windscreen here, well, it could be blocked by, say, a passing truck or by a cloud that comes between the sun and me. Those things are possible, and because they're possible, we can use the power of our mind to uh, increase the probability of that happening. Now, I will explain to you how I know that some level of manifestation. Oh, that's like an ET finger. Heel, ET phone home, all lit up by the sun. I'm a Pleiadian, that's what it is, or a tall white. There you go. Um, so, um, some level of manifestation is possible, and I will explain to you how I have determined that to be true. You can take a coin and you can toss it, and it's going to be 50-50 whether it comes up heads or tails. And if you toss it 1,000 times, you're going to end up with approximately 500 heads and approximately 500 tails. There's going to be a sort of a one-to-one relationship there. Now, when you do it with just 1,000 coins, you might get 0.48 sort of heads in terms of the ratio, and let's see, 0.52. Okay, I need to stop and think about that, my mathematics skills on the spot. So 0.48 and 0.52 heads versus tails. There might be a slight discrepancy there, and that's the nature of random. And if I were to do 1,000,000 of them, it would the mathematics would tend towards 0.5 to 0.5 or 1 to 1, whichever numbers you use. 50%, 50%. That's what the mathematics tends towards the more samples and the more pieces of data you get in this coin flipping. But if you sit there and you toss a coin and you will, with the power of your mind, you will that coin to come up heads, 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 then what I have discovered is that you can move away from that 50-50. You can end up, if you're focusing on the heads, you can get like 70 to 30. You can have significant differences. And when you keep tossing the coins more and more and more, 1,000, 1,000,000, well, I've never done 1,000,000, but I've done larger and larger and larger numbers, and I can keep I can keep the numbers weighted away from 50-50. I've done this in groups. I've done it, I don't know, 20, 30 times in a row in group scenarios. Whether we try heads or whether we try tails, we always manage to come up with significantly more of the thing that we're intending. This is a fact that has been known to be true for many decades in paranormal circles. That if you put the power of your mind on, say, a random number generator in a computer, you can make it go to more ones, or you can make it go to more zeros, depending on what you're thinking about. Now, obviously, that's bizarre. That goes against the laws of understood physics, but it clearly doesn't go against the laws of reality, because it's real and you can verify it. You can prove it to be true. So what is going on there? Well, some people some people invoke quantum mechanics into this. And you know what? It might be connected to quantum mechanics. I went to university and I got a first class honors degree in physics with space science and technology. And one of my courses, probably more than one of my courses actually, was on quantum mechanics. I had to work through that complicated mathematics. Not much fun. What quantum mechanics can tell us, it deals in wave functions of, for example, of probability. It deals in the mathematics of where, for example, an electron might be in an atom at any one moment, or in its orbit around the nucleus of an atom. It deals in probability, and there's more probability in some areas, there's less probability in other areas. It deals in probability. And because of that, some people misinterpret that as being that the electron is everywhere all at the same time. And unless we actually observe it, then we can't. It's only when we observe it that it sort of pops into existence somehow in a certain location. That's kind of nonsense. It's a misinterpretation of Schrodinger's cat story. What is going on is the electron is always, well, you know, it does blur out a bit, an electron, but it's not everywhere in the universe all at the same time. There is a probability of where it is in its orbit around that, inside that atom. And some people misinterpret that as being that there are infinite numbers of parallel universes, and that in each of those parallel universes, the electron is in a slightly different place. And by measuring the location of where that electron is, we pop ourselves across into whichever universe that's where the electron is. And so people literally think that there is a multiple, there are infinite numbers of parallel Earths to this one. That's a misinterpretation of quantum mechanics. There are an infinite number of probabilities about how this world could be at any one moment. So let's take, 15 minutes from now. Where am I going to be? 15 minutes from now, this podcast will be over. I could still be sitting here, or I could be standing outside my car. I could have gone to the Safeway that's over there, or the cafe over there. You know, I could be driving somewhere. There's an infinite number of possibilities. And some people literally think that in 15 minutes, there are an infinite number of parallel universes. And in the different universes, I'm in all of those different places, in at least one of those universes. No, that's not how it is. In 15 minutes, there are a number of possibilities, but only one of those possibilities will come into existence. When we manifest things, we are able to increase at will the possibilities that we want. We can increase the probabilities of possibilities. So let's say tomorrow evening at my event, my contact event, let's say I really want to meet a new friend there who I'm going to connect with really strongly. We're going to become best new friends. Well, that's possible, okay? In the infinite number of possibilities, there are a number of possibilities in which I meet somebody who could be a really cool, good new friend. Because I'm sure there's lots of people in Sedona who I could easily be friends with. So what I could do is I can meditate. I can put my mind on that possibility, on visualizing it, on trying to pull it into place. And by doing that, I increase the probability of that happening. Literally, if there's somebody in Sedona who could be a good friend to me, then me putting the power of my mind on that person being there tomorrow, that will increase the probability of them being there. We can do that. We can increase the probability of heads coming up when you toss a coin, of you meeting a new friend, a new partner, of you getting a raise in your place of employment, of you avoiding your next flu or cold infection, of your body healing more quickly if you've got an injury. Um, there are so many infinite number of possibilities that you can increase the probability of. Now, a lot of people think that all you need to do is want something, will it happen, and it will happen. Well, no, that's not how it works. Let's take the lottery, for example. Wouldn't it be nice to win the lottery? Well, I've tried to do manifestation to win the lottery. It hasn't worked yet. If it had worked, I would have been staying in hotels instead of sleeping in my car while I travel. It hasn't worked yet. Um, Now, if it was a simple thing, if winning the lottery was 50-50, then I would have won the lottery more than my fair share by now. But the number of people in the US who are participating in lotteries, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's probably millions. And so at the moment, the probability of me winning the lottery is probably 1,000,000 to 1 or something in that sort of area, 1,000,000 to 1. So I might be able to put the power of my mind onto winning the lottery and increase the probability of it to, I don't know, by a factor of 50. Okay, but still, that's 50 to a million. Oh my goodness, what math is this? I don't know. It's something like 1 to 20, 200,000 now, is it something like that? Trying to do the math in a car while I'm giving a podcast is not the best of ideas, but you see my point. I can I can increase the probability of something happening, but it still might be an extremely low probability. So that's what manifestation is. Some people literally think that if something bad happens to you, it's because you have manifested it. That's really a cruel philosophy and belief to bring out into the world and to put upon people. I know that this life is not fair. It's not fair from the moment you're born into it, looking different in different families, in different cultures, in different countries, um, in different economic situations. It's not, and from that point onwards, nothing is fair. And so, for anybody, sitting on their high horse looking down at others saying, oh, well, you're not manifesting hard enough. I got to where I am by manifesting hard. That's kind of cruel, and it's inconsiderate, and it's not true. It's not consistent with reality. I don't know anybody who wouldn't like to have more money. I don't know anyone who wouldn't like to be healthier, fitter, stronger than they are. I don't know anyone who wouldn't like the world to be a more peaceful, happy, loving, caring place. And if all that any of us needed to do to have any of those things become real was to think them into reality, then all of those things would have already happened. So two very important lessons that we can all learn about this particular subject are: positive thinking is not enough to manifest solutions to any of the world's big problems. And negative thinking is not enough to manifest into existence any of those big problems. Sometimes bad things just happen, sometimes good things just happen, and sometimes if we want to solve big problems in the world, then rather than sitting at home with a belief system that just the power of thinking or meditation is going to solve all of these problems, and it's everybody else's fault and it's not my fault, and all everybody needs to do is follow my example and all the world's problems will be solved. We don't have to worry about nuclear weapons or climate change or erosion of truth or democracy or anything like that. Well, that's all nonsense. That is not consistent with reality. It's also not helpful. If we're going to solve all of the world's problems, we actually need to learn about them. And we need to learn about them from sources of information that is not disinformation, that is not misinformation. Oh, my goodness, that's a completely different subject. And how do I convince anybody out there what's real information and what's disinformation? I don't know. But with the power of manifestation, we can increase the probability of possibilities by, well, I've been able to do it up to about, was it 33, around 30% away from random. That's what I've been able to do. I've got a video on my website where you can see that. It's a video called Manifestation. It's not magic. It's not miracles. Certainly not perfect. It's an increasing of the probability of possibilities by focusing your mind on something, willing it to happen, wanting it to happen, engaging your emotions in it, seeing your spirit reaching into all those possible future outcomes. Take hold of the one you want and pull it into your path as you walk towards it. And this is something you can practice with coin tossing, and so you can see if you're getting better at it or worse at it. I am approaching the end of this podcast, so I would like to once again encourage people. If you would like to learn more about reality, then please join my my group, my website, which is at www.patreon.com/, I forget what people say in this country. It's one of those two. Alien Contact. And if you like what I'm doing, please join Tier 1, and then you can participate in my Christmas party, my online Christmas party, and our remote viewing, remote communication with Jesus. I thank you all very much for listening to me. I wish you all peace, love, and well-being. Take care, everybody. Goodbye for now.